Bonsoir YouTube, comment vas-tu? On est retour sur Disco Elysium, on va continuer vu que le fil du jeu n'est pas fini comme on le pensait. On doit aller continuer d'explorer, essayer de résoudre cette enquête après avoir raté tellement de G. Oh là, est-ce que tu as vu cette VOD? Oh là 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 là. Quel bordel!
Wow!
On ça la vache.
A cop limping down the street, bleeding from the shoulder, face bruised, looking like hell? You know what that is? Cool! That's cool!
Ah ouais? Ok. Alors, je sais que je dois descendre, essayer de chercher, aller sur l'île. Aller voir ma copine avec son bateau là. Et chercher sur l'île. Alors toi, t'as tout vu, non? Peut-être. Alors, qu'est-ce que t'en penses de la petite...
My man, you're alive. Almost. Kind of. Sort of alive?
Je serais la patte, mais je suis toujours en vie.
Man, what a day.
Ah ouais.
I missed out on most of the action, but I heard it was quite the encounter.
Ah ouais, c'était chaud,
Had
mec.
a strong sense of finality to it.
Ah ouais, mec, t'aurais dû voir. J'ai raté à un 83%. Magnifique.
So what's next? You guys heading back to Jamrock now? Talk is local union muscle were behind it all. I'd reckon the case is closed, even if it kind of turned into a shit show.
Il est encore de raccrocher les wagons.
Good luck with that, my man. Ain't easy being you, but hey, you're still breathing, right?
J'ai rencontré la conductrice, elle s'appelle Ruby.
Okay.
Il est un peu inquiet.
Is it wise to share information about the case like this, sire? The lieutenant throws you. What are you doing?
Qu'est-ce que tu fabriques? Il faut pas que je le dise. Moi, ça tâche, on peut pas vous en dire plus.
That's probably for the best. You keep.
Mais je voulais voir s'il avait quelque chose à me dire, lui. J'ai vu que c'est lui qui l'a... Non, il est plus raciste, là. Et du coup, apparemment, ils ont full lockdown ici, du coup. Ah oui, il n'y a plus personne. Ils ont mis des drapeaux et tout, là.
The boyadero stares at you with respect, then gestures towards the trickles of blood adorning your clothes.
Le danger fait partie du style des boyaderas, c'est ça? Boyaderas.
There are types of danger. The one I'm usually concerned with is lung cancer or getting mauled by wildlife. Not bullets.
Wow! Quand même des
It
bullets!
goes back to an older era where this was commonplace though. You have a true boyadero heart.
Ah, ça fait plaisir. Et tout le monde.
Hiding, gathering themselves. The harbor's in full lockdown, friend. No getting in or out for the time being.
Tu peux pas m'aider à rentrer?
No, man. Not today. Today is war.
He says it matter-of-factly, like it's no big deal.
Qu'est-ce qui se passe ensuite?
Time will tell. I'll tell Everett you dropped by. I'm sure he'll be glad.
Et toi, qu'est-ce que tu vas faire?
I'll be okay here, doing lookout. Quite the sight, aren't they? Getting to like that red I am.
Ah, moi aussi, ce rouge commence à me plaire, mais bon... on l'a pas eu de manière...
Don't worry about me. I live to alleviate the worries of our brothers. See if any insane killers turn up. Then I'll run. And live.
J'essaie de pas te faire descendre, d'accord?
I'm sure I'll be luckier than you, friend.
Son sourire aussi vaste que le désert. Ouais, c'est vrai que quand je... Ah oui, c'est vrai que quand... Attendez, regardez, quand je suis en scène discussion, la cam n'est pas... J'ai pas coupé la cam pareil. Et là, vous voyez plus rien. Voilà. J'aime bien montrer ma Keyblade. Vous connaissez la Keyblade? Ah, je peux aller chercher la caisse là maintenant. Allez. Qu'est-ce qu'il y a dedans? Tout ça pour ça. Non mais une pièce. Non mais vraiment. Moi je me fais plus en plus de temps. Je suppose que je peux pas l'accrocher. Je m'en serais douté. Je vais pas retourner faire un saut de la foi. Bonjour mademoiselle, vous êtes toujours là? Les rouges jaunes de la feuille sont pas celles qui étaient destinées à Clage. Ah,
Is this about the questions again? Because
je sais que c'est pas grand chose. On va prendre là, tiens.
A small cabinet on the wall is filled with various medicine bottles, nasal sprays.
Okay, here.
The tear machine stands in the corner. A sign says,
No.
Bon, et cassons-nous. 3T, on dirait une faute de frappe. Ça s'appelle frites. Frites. Non, c'est frites. Comme une mitraillette. Bonjour.
Between you and me, this is why I don't get involved in local politics.
On appelle ça de la politique.
In its purest form. Now, what can I do for you?
J'ai essayé de voir si vous aviez des allumettes, mais apparemment personne n'a d'allumettes. J'ai envie de faire une folie. Ouais, bon, bah allez voir ma copine. Hein. Je vais prendre son bateau. Est-ce que je peux tenter de retirer...
an old mirror hangs on the wall. You see your reflection in it.
Ruby s'est suicidé plus 1.
Fixed to your clean-shaven face.
D'accord.
You're still not accustomed to it.
Électrochimie. Quoi? Pourquoi c'est bugué? Allô? Mais c'est bugué là? Mais c'est bugué? C'est bugué ou c'est le jeu qui veut ça? J'aurais peut-être dû ranger mes vêtements quand même. Ouais, je crois que j'ai rien pour l'électrochimie autre que... autre que mon pantalon. Ah si, j'ai les gants.
An old mirror hangs on the wall. You see it still not happen.
Toujours pas, hein. Toujours pas, hein. J'ai gagné 3 points, j'ai 3 points. Est-ce que j'irais pas au moins en mettre un quelque part? Qu'est-ce qui me fait le plus défaut? Projection analytique, j'en perds un peu. Commentaire, c'est bien aussi. Un peu de volonté. Peut-être un peu en projection. Et reprendre un point en empathie, tiens. Et je vais garder un point au cas où, toujours. Toujours un point au cas où.
Officer, what happened? You're limping. Why are you limping? You look terrible.
J'étais blessé au pied, on a tout déchiré, j'espère que vous aurez plu.
Is this from the shooting in town? We heard gunshots. Not that we don't hear gunshots all the time, but they were closer than usual.
There was an exchange of fire on Rue de Saint-Guylaine. It's nothing to be worried about, madame.
J'ai gagné, madame.
You didn't only get shot.
Quel était le second tir, je peux également faire une sorte de ne pas être blessé. Je peux également faire en sorte de ne pas être blessé.
Well, good for you.
Répondez en souriant. Allez, je l'ai fait sourire. Vous allez voir, les autres types sont tous morts, donc je pense que c'est pas une phrase à dire. C'est pas une phrase pour une lady. J'ai une question à vous poser.
Of course. Can I help you with something?
Nous venons de rendre sur l'île, indiquez la direction de l'île.
That won't be a problem. It's wind still and the tar just dried. We've got 2 days of relative sunshine ahead.
Du jour de temps, je viens juste d'avoir une infection bactérienne. Ah, qu'est-ce qu'il y a sur cette île?
Used to be some kind of fortification there before the war. For the communards. An anti-aircraft gun, I think. Bombed to bits in the landing. I haven't been there myself. Always steered clear of it.
Hasn't been there herself. Who has then?
Vous avez dit que vous n'êtes jamais allé. Qui est donc allé alors?
My husband used to drink there. Him and his drinking buddies. Always seemed like a bad place to drink to me. People died there during the landing, you know. My mother told me.
This must be one of the many fortifications that was used in the dying days of the revolution against coalition forces.
The kids sometimes go there too. I know they do, on rafts. I tell them not.
Quel enfant.
Twins. God forbid they bring the girl along on some rickety barge.
Can we maybe ask your twins about that place?
Be my guest. They have a strange way of talking. See if you can get anything useful out of them. Well, most of it's sunken. Underwater. That means concrete underwater. Cut your boat if you're not careful. Be sure to enter from the south side.
Aye, aye, Captain.
Allez, Captain. Mais je peux emprunter votre bateau.
If you promise to bring it back, and no scraping the hull. I just got it nice and yellow. And no drinking on the boat. And no joyriding either.
Oh, je vois
Of
plus.
course, ma'am. It's only for a day or two. Official police business.
Aye.
Aïe, aïe. Ah, qu'est-ce que vous en écoutez attention. Et si je veux danser sur du rock?
See, that makes me not want to lend you my skiff. On a boat, rocking leads to capsizing. That there is an absolutely 100% rock-free skiff. You got that?
Ok, d'accord, c'est bon.
Please be conservative with the fuel, will you? Just filled her up, but it's a small tank.
Ok, pas de soucis. À plus tard. Je vais interroger vos enfants. Ils sont petits pour partir sur leur radeau tout seul sur une île.
The scruffy-haired little boy kicks a stone while the other watches him do it.
Cette petite Lily, c'est votre soeur?
Yes.
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 C'est tout pour être aussi laconique alors.
It doesn't look like he knows what that means.
Ok, donc vous êtes allé sur l'île, pas vrai?
That iron.
Oui, c'est si, j'avais besoin de savoir ce qui s'y trouve.
That's nothing. It's just a seafort and some plants. You can take a raft there. It's great.
Putain, mais ils ont l'air d'avoir 4 ans. Quel moment leur mère les laisse aller sur l'île, sur leur radeau, quoi.
And we make a fire. We make a fire. Mhm. Gather the sticks for the fire and bullets. Oh, not real bullets, empty bullets.
Bullet shells. There are a lot of them left over from the war, but this could be important.
I don't know what these are.
C'est douille. Ouais.
They're lights. The fire guy comes and asks us to put the fire out.
Le monsieur du feu vient nous demander d'éteindre le feu.
Your nerve endings sting from the mention of a guy. They must mean a human being on that island, but it's cut off.
Tu es en train de me dire que quelqu'un vit sur cette île?
No. Yes.
Oh putain.
Let's go with yes.
Pourquoi vous l'appelez le monsieur du feu?
Because he asks to put the fire out.
Pourquoi il vous demande d'éteindre le feu?
I don't know. He doesn't like it. He don't like people to be there. You shouldn't go. Yes.
Ajoute l'autre laconiquement, en se faisant droit comme un I, ses mains le collent le long du corps comme un petit soldat de plomb.
Because he doesn't want to be found. Smoke traces.
Vous parlez de lumière?
I don't know.
Did you mean there are electrical lights?
Il désigne les lampadaires.
Yes.
Y a-t-il quelque chose que vous pouvez me raconter sur ce monsieur? Quel âge a-t-il et est-ce qu'il vit sur l'île?
No, he doesn't live there. I don't think. No, he lives there. Been there twice, 2 times. He doesn't live there. He isn't there sometimes.
Anything else? What does this guy look like?
I don't know.
Comment ça?
We ran. He just yelled we shouldn't be there.
Votre père aussi, elle est sur l'île.
Our father killed himself.
Ok.
Don't say that, he didn't.
Il lui donne un coup de poing, les petits yeux se remplissent de larmes. Le père ne s'est pas suicidé.
I don't know.
Regarde autour de lui.
Doesn't even have anything to do with this, you. Father isn't the fire guy.
The two things are unconnected. Your question didn't make sense.
Merci, logique. Tout ce que vous savez, vous pouvez me dire, vous pouvez rien me dire de plus sur l'île? Lilia répond plié à son foutant les yeux. Il est clair qu'il a nullement l'intention de finir sa phrase.
Lights, fire guy. We should check up on that island.
Ok les enfants, allez, ciao. Ciao, bye. Il est où son bateau du coup, l'autre? Ah, il est...
A skiff with a small steering engine in the back. Once you get in, that's it. One pull of the starter handle, and you're off into the bay. Have you made all the necessary preparations? Closed all your accounts?
Encore? Putain, le jeu, depuis tout à l'heure, il arrête pas... Il arrête pas de me dire c'est bon? T'es sûr de toi, c'est bon? Toutes les pièces d'armure, mais je sais pas où aller, toutes les pièces d'armure. J'ai fait toute l'île. Au bout d'un moment, là, oui, là, je sais plus où aller, là, au bout d'un moment. Moi, je sais plus quoi faire d'autre, moi. Allez.
Remember what the net picker said. It's a small tank. You won't be going back and forth on this.
Je vais tenir un magnétophore.
What?
Comment ça, quoi? Sinon, comment voulez-vous qu'on fasse péter le son de larmes et chansons en chemin?
Fine. Let's blast Sad FM then.
Sad FM is a radio station specializing in sad, slow rock songs. You seem to know its frequency by heart.
On dit ce bateau est vraiment sur l'île. Ouais, on va y aller, hein. Vraiment, qu'est-ce que je fasse de plus? Vraiment? Je laisse profiter. Bah, j'ai un briquet là-bas, mais il est trop loin. Donc faisons genre.
The boat comes to a slow stop. The lieutenant turns the engine off. Then there's silence.
C'était le petit moment, c'était le calme avant la tempête, littéralement.
In
Continue.
the silence, a sputter of wings. A flock of quails takes off in the distance.
Let's go.
Let's go. Ouais, allons-y. On va marcher. Hein. Et monter un niveau encore. Un pont en fortune, les bombes ont été assez puissantes pour briser les fondations. La chaîne rouillée s'enfonce dans l'océan.
The chain trails off into the ocean, connecting the island to the supply depot on the coast.
Ça mène au dépôt du Finistère.
Ah, yes. So it seems.
À quoi ça aurait pu servir?
For bringing munitions to the island, maybe? And supplies? You could also lock the bay when you raise the chain.
As a defensive measure, lock it off that side of the bay.
Ouais, la paix contre qui?
From enemies. Enemies of the commune of Revachol. This sea fort was a revolutionary fortification, I believe.
D'accord. Allons-y. Le mieux, ce serait qu'on marche quand même, au cas où il y ait quelqu'un. Qu'on s'amuse pas à courir dans tous les sens. On... Ah, c'est Harry! C'est Harry Dubois! Harriet Dubois! Mais vous pouvez m'appeler Harry. Du mazout s'est versé du baril noir et tout visqueux. Une odeur de mazout flotte dans l'air. Attention, inflammable. Non, no shit.
The dry grass crackles under your feet as you stop. Far away, birds' wings touch the still surface of the
Quel
sea.
ce battement.
The flock of quail departs. Now more than 100 meters away, 102.
Regarde le battement.
On the islet, there is almost no wind, just the light movement of air through the reeds. Bulrushes swaying on the waterline, like a silent orchestra tuning at the beginning of some major work.
À l'ouest,
A silent hiss, sea air moving through the needles of a pine tree.
à l'est,
The faraway roar of the city, distant like today's dream. Before it, the sound of sand, the low tide filtered through its grains, a bird tending to its feathers.
devant,
A low hum. The air slowly moves through a concrete box, through its ancient slits and cracks, resonating, hollow. A big building.
au-delà du plus au nord.
Air flows out of a pillbox window. There is very little there. The air cossets flowers on a meadow. Absolute silence. Reeds motionless. Bulrushes motionless.
Et sous le silence,
A jitter. A sound impatient to happen, but not yet in this world.
Kim,
Yes?
t'es vraiment silencieux sur Tim.
It is. Is that why we are stopping?
Désolé, on s'en sent. D'écouter l'île. Vous savez, je ressens. Je peux ressentir l'île. Sur le baril, vous lisez MCI. Vous apercevez une étoile parsemée de petites taches. Vous reconnaissez ce petit boulot, celui-ci d'utiliser ma pièce. Ah! Ok, je pense qu'on va passer à l'intérieur, on pourra sortir un peu partout. Trouve c'est un emplacement pour armes. Des canons jumeaux étaient autrefois fixés ici, des canons gros calibre à distance moyenne. Ok, attendez, il y a un truc pour dormir ici. Sinon, ces escaliers se sont écroulés. Là, il y a un moteur.
An old cylindrical generator is nested above the ammo lift, with makeshift electrical wiring running out of its side and across the floor. The lieutenant puts his hand on the metal barrel, checking for warmth.
It's cold now, but someone has been maintaining it. The wiring has been repaired.
Ouvrons les câbles.
Downstairs, somewhere?
Quel est ce type de générateur?
Liquid carbon. I would imagine it takes mazout. The kind that's favored by vagrants and fuel thieves. It's been a long winter.
If anyone stayed here, they'd need a generator.
Qu'est-ce que ça signifie?
I don't know. I'm not a philosopher.
Oh. Pourquoi c'est ici?
Someone with basic electrical skills has restored it in order to keep the room warm. Maybe it's the fire guy.
The wind outside picks up suddenly, with a faint howl. Inside, it's warm.
Tapez sur le fond.
A hollow ring. The canister is empty. Dust falls from the generator and down into the ammo lift.
Peut-être parti chercher du mazout, le monsieur. Ok, donc là... Les livres, la plupart des uns, sont des romans fictifs de fiction historique. Des taches tachées de rose et d'incendie de la cuisine d'un survivant. T-shirt à manches longues, Arrowware FALN. Plus en coordination visuelle. Il y a un lit ici. Regarde, d'avoir une carabine.
There's a greasy old spring mattress in the corner, resting on piles of soft cover books. White linen and a pillow are visible under a worn-out caracal blanket.
Someone has been squatting here. The linen is fresh, recently washed.
Récemment, mais plus précisément.
You force the rest of the sentence out through pain, thick as molasses.
You know, officer, you can rest here if you are feeling tired. I will keep watch. You could use some rest for what's ahead.
C'est pas le moment de se reposer.
Yes, anytime. If you need a...
You don't have to be a hero. The greasy...
The offer still stands.
Non, non, mais pas le temps. Merci. Non, non. On va tenir le coup, vous inquiétez pas. On a passé des bougies enfoncées dans un télémètre cassé. Là, il y a des livres et tout.
Books and magazines lie scattered on the floor and on a makeshift cupboard. They are not particularly well organized.
On est passé au crible.
Most are soft covers, serialized fantastique and detective stories from the 20s and 30s. This disparate digest includes the classic and popular depictions of man versus nature by amateur naturalists T&T Harpin, husband and wife. Widely read by people from all walks of life. Who doesn't like nature? Who doesn't want to? Among what is mostly commercial fiction and serialized stories, you find a magazine cathodique for electrical engineering. Then it's back to pulp. Light erotica, an international thriller about circuit benders.
Wow.
Someone's made themselves a home.
C'est quelque chose d'inhabituel. Toutes ces choses communistes. Conceptualisation. Est-ce que je peux monter ma conceptualisation? Avec des vêtements, je veux dire. Voilà, avec ça. Avec ça. On va les mettre à côté pour pas que j'oublie. Non, après...
Soft covers, serialized fantastic. Not that you
No!
can tell. This is a digest of someone who's dead bored. Most of it is for entertainment purposes. Maybe it's a little old-fashioned. There's a new... The print in some of these is pretty small, though.
Ah, elle a une très bonne vue, la personne.
Soft covers, serialized, still no.
Mais putain! Oh, une écharpe, il y en a plus de 2 en empathie. Putain, j'ai encore atteint 72%. Putain. Regardez, c'est Krav Maga. Ces grosses portes anti-explosion doivent peser plus de 10 tonnes. Des plaques de rouille s'en détachent. Moi, je me soigne du moral là.
You see a small metal door nested inside a larger one. A heavy steel blast door. There is a conventional keyhole.
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a de
above.
côté?
Another part of the island, probably. The lock looks like it could still be usable.
Comment ça s'ouvre?
Maybe this is one of the doors we don't open?
He's right. It would be better to open its big brother. A powerful engine hangs under the ceiling. It must control the blast door.
On va voir
I
comment.
think there's a console just southeast. Let's look around, getting the blast door open.
J'ai pas eu qu'on pouvait descendre là. Ok. Ah, et une écoutille. Cette trappe est bloquée. Ah oui, là on peut descendre là. Ça on avait vu, c'est la petite partie au sud là. Impossible de voir ce qu'il y a à l'intérieur. C'est un sacré bus. Et si on fait un coup direct pour tenir à bout d'un si gros morceau. Le dollar juste dans votre pays, vous fait grincer dedans, ensuite vous continuez. Ah, il va y avoir des remarques tout du long en mode ah, j'ai mal. Distinguer la. Ok. Bidon d'essence et l'UM. Bidon d'essence? Il reste encore de l'essence dans ce bidon décrypté, environ 1 litre ou 2. Le métal a mal vieilli. Le goût destructeur automobile lume sur le fond est presque effacé. Une carte erronée indiquant les coordonnées de la baie de Revachol. Une vieille armoire à pharmacie récemment répositionnée en droit mine.
There's a rain-soaked mattress on a concrete slab, only half covered by the crumbling roof. At the head of it, double embrasures, firing slits, like two.
This looks like a good place to aim from.
Examiner les matelas.
A single-person mattress, modern, civilian use. Brand name, Marjorie. There's a fuel stain on the cover, along with cigarette butt, and an empty can of beans on the ground next to it, filled to the brim with cigarette butts.
Alors on ramassait un de la boîte.
The silhouette of a tobacco picker adorns the paper filter. The brand,
Tiumutuli. Ah, c'était pas sur le quai là-bas, il y en avait un qui avait fumé aussi un truc Tiumutuli.
Contemporary Revacholians prefer Druan, a local blend from the southern islands.
Ouais, ça, j'avais
Or
cette marque.
Astra, the legendary cigarette.
Je m'en souviens,
from
je m'en
Iran.
souviens.
Diamatiri is favored by older men for its paper filter tips, sweet smell, and added tar.
Could be a coincidence. Or the same person has visited Land's End. I didn't see any signs of smoking inside though. If people live there, they keep it tidy. This here may also be a smoking spot.
Examinez le mur.
There's a firing slit in the wall in front of you.
Touchez d'abord le
Looking
béton.
quite old and grimy from years without cleaning by anything other than the rain.
Là, à travers le trou dans le béton.
The springs screech as you lean on the mattress and crane. A small piece of Martinez coastline opens up in the square in front of you, like a tiny landscape painting. 1 kilometer across the water. The ruins look familiar.
À gauche.
A towering skyscraper, its top floors shaved off by artillery fire. Capeside apartments. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 33A and 33B.
À droite.
The red chimney and collapsed back of the 4-story tenement in front of the whirling in rags. Rue de Saint-Gislain, 10. the doomed commercial area.
Et entre les deux.
The box-shaped silhouette of the whirling in rags. Its sloped roof, a tiny fleck of light catches your eye on the rooftop. Sunlight reflected
L'enfoiré.
off.
What does that mean? Do you have line of sight to do?
More than that.
Avec des yeux, je pourrais voir à l'intérieur de la chambre Kim.
A pair of binoculars? Or a scope of a rifle? You'd be prone, lying on a mattress, barrel resting on the embrasure.
Cheek against a cheek rest, hand on the hair trigger. On a calm day like this.
Le tir est faisable du PC, Kim. Moi, je me y arriverai.
I think we have it, detective. The origin of the shot. This is the sniper's nest.
Affirmative.
Mieux tard que jamais. C'est dingue qu'on n'ait pas visité cet endroit plus tôt.
Why? We don't go everywhere in a 1,000-meter radius of the crime scene. That's not procedure.
Certaines personnes se demandent, on peut éviter ça.
Don't beat yourself up, officer. We did not put guns in their hands or get them drunk.
The lieutenant pauses. Regret comes over him.
We will make up for it. Here. I feel it.
Est-ce que tu verras toujours ici?
Where?
C'est-il?
He does not answer. Just nods.
Sur ce matelas en ce
With his
moment
back
même. Non, c'est
hunched,
pas moi le tir.
He looks around once more and says,
We should move now.
the bow collector.
L'archer.
It's early in the morning. The world is dark blue. The sparks light her face, a delicate composition of triangles. The streets seem to grow longer, like in a dolly zoom. And there's something in the air as you stand there and wave back at the shapes growing smaller and smaller. Something that has always been there. A great see-through world. The tenderness you feel. The ghost of Revachol between you, carrying your signals. The holy messenger.
J'ai 3 en frisson. Oh. Qui tire en nous. Rentrons à l'intérieur. Vous entendez couler de l'eau en dessous, le vent en dessous.
Green paint flicks off the monoblock aluminium cabinet. There are rows of switches on the front panel, a frequency band, and even a keyboard.
Par contre, le clavier du
The
tout.
keys rattle like teeth. This keyboard hasn't been functional in decades.
C'est quoi ça?
The console of an anti-computation device. The generator upstairs, with wires coming out. They terminate here.
Est-ce que c'est... Ah, j'ai trouvé de l'argent et j'ai trouvé de l'essence.
Urgence, ouvert, allumé, radiodiffusé. It sounds like this device was...
This device was used to control the electronics in the room. It could open...
Ok. Il faut l'alimenter avant, je suppose. On a trouvé de l'essence.
This the lieutenant assists you, holding the canister up to the fuel. There's a red starter switch on the side of the cylinder and a start rope on the other side. The recoil start wakes the old generator up. The machine sputters like an old wall.
That should do it.
Bien joué. Allez, j'ai le droit de recommencer la rhétorique là. Allez.
Soft covers.
Merde, je vous l'appuie là. Je remets pas un point dans la rhétorique pour passer ce truc, hein, c'est bon.
A dim
It's on. Turn emergency.
automatic boot. The blast door opens with a series of clicks. A shaft of light appears, then widens as the light shines in.
Par contre, si le tireur il est encore sur l'île, j'ai envie de mettre mon... J'ai envie de mettre mon pistolet dans la main en fait.
After you.
Qu'est-ce Si on se retrouve dans un conflit.
Don't worry, I have a gun.
Il sort son arme, vérifie le canon, puis il la range à nouveau dans son étui. Moi aussi, je suis
I
armé.
know. It was not easy to acquire.
Mais on l'a retrouvé. Faut te la ranger quand même. C'est jamais. C'est jamais. Si c'est mal perçu et qu'il n'y a même pas le temps de discuter avec l'autre, il tire direct parce qu'il me voit avec une arme. C'est un pneu. Un canot pneumatique qui a été dégonflé et percé. Des petites fleurs blanches fleurissent tout autour de vous. Ok. Voilà. On va faire un petit sauvegarde rapide avant. Ça fait vraiment faim là, c'est la fin du jeu au bout du chemin.
An old man
Le déserteur.
wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth.
Mais t'es qui toi? Le déserteur? T'as une musique de... Attends, le déserteur c'est une musique de Charles Trenet? C'est pas Charles Trenet le déserteur? Attendez, c'est important, c'est une question importante qu'il faut résoudre. Ah mais merde, pourquoi vous voyez mon écran? Ah parce qu'on est en screen capture. Le déserteur. C'est Boris Vian, voilà, Boris Vian. Je vous fais cette lettre que vous lirez peut-être.
Then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp. He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
C'est le monsieur du feu. Notre jeu est toujours intact. C'est un beau fusil que vous avez là. Monsieur, je vais vous demander de baisser votre trame. Nous avons des points à éclaircir. Nous sommes de la police.
The what now? I can't hear you.
Est-ce que vous avez récemment demandé à deux gamins d'éteindre leur feu de jumeaux?
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around.
The position sounds like a hiding place.
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
Celui qui vous accuse, il a 4 ans. Hein. Après, faut se calmer. Hein. Le vue est toujours intact.
My eyesight. Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
Vous avez fermé la porte en explosion?
I did. And you opened it. How?
Comment vous avez su que je venais?
Reactionary rock and roll music.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
Parce que vous avez dit Kim. C'était pas du rock'n'roll, c'était l'arme et chanson.
Sad FM, huh? I always hated that station. Phlegmatic, counter-revolutionary dirges. Sadness is a mental illness. A weapon of the bourgeoisie.
Waouh. Alors moi aussi, je suis... Faut se calmer quand même.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hip gyrating, mental illness music.
C'est un beau style que vous avez là.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
C'est un Belmagrave.
It's a Triangong 446.
Southeast Samaran made. Exotic. Must be defunct too. No modern rifle manufacturer.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Signal commune. military aid.
Casse son arme.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
La commune de Yinsao.
You heard me. It's good now, like chalk wiped from the board.
Se referme sur lui-même.
He's right. Almost no one remembers there was a third metastasis of the world revolution in the Saffrey Empire, extinguished in 06.
On n'a pas été de la carte, moi je m'en souviens.
They wouldn't like hearing their name in your mouth. Damn.
Oh là là!
The time will come to win his trust, comrade. It is not now. You need to take care of the gun first.
Attends, ça n'a pas fait défaut, la mienne non plus.
Yes, I bet you've killed a lot of people with it. You fascist fuck. Have you come to make me one of them?
We have come to ask you questions, nothing more. If you do not comply, we will take you in. Do you understand?
Vous n'obtenez aucune réponse de sa part. Je vais vous demander de poser votre arme. Nous avons des questions à éclaircir, nous sommes de la police.
The lieutenant pulls his pistol from the hole.
You are a glorified night watchman. This is a service rifle. I can only lay it down before an enemy commander of corresponding rank.
Ah, j'aurais dû noter mon autorité.
The
Voilà, c'est les moments de faire là.
commander
C'est le moment de faire des bons jets là.
cold as iron from your lungs. The old man still hugs his gun.
And what rank would that be, dog?
Lieutenant double Jeffrestor.
A big wheel of the 4th Regiment of the Pederast Army. To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
Le vieil homme pose négligemment le fusil à terre et se contente de l'observer.
Like an amputated limb in the sand. He stares on, his wrinkled mouth moving without a sound. A strange sadness, like a song.
Je l'ai dit.
The future teaches you to be alone.
The present.
The present.
The present to be afraid and cold.
Le vieil homme retire la capuche de son imperméable et lève les yeux vers le ciel ombragé. Il est gris-bleu, comme la mer. L'avenir nous apprend à vivre seul, c'est...
Real music. Real brilliant cult. That's la Révacholière, not your rock and roll misanthropy. Chanson de soldat of the black and whites.
Marching song. Forget about that for a moment. You need to address that remark first.
Tu connais la Révacholienne, c'est un chant de marche de la Révolution mondiale.
There you go. 1 of 3. In Grad, they sang Brave Children, Favorites of History. And in Sinyao, it was... some Samaran shit, I guess.
Alors quoi cette chanson?
How did it go?
C'était sûr, il observe le fusil au sol et secoue légèrement la tête.
Something about shooting rabbits. I don't know. I can't remember. It doesn't matter.
Ramasser l'arme ou
It's
passer sur le
gone
sol.
now.
Ramasser l'arme, ok.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand, still warm from his parched hands. Not the metal. The metal is ice cold. This weapon has been modified several times.
Il examine de plus en
The
détail.
rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel.
C'est lui le tueur? C'est qui?
Made of walnut.
C'est qui? Qu'est-ce que t'as à voir avec tout ça, quoi?
On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangong, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
C'est bien le modèle indiqué.
No one said it has to be a Belma grave. We were just guessing.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a triangle.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does. The right type and the right calibre.
He's liking this.
Le fusil a été modifié à plusieurs reprises.
I wonder how old it is.
The old man does not answer. He just stares in front of him.
Rangez l'arme.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. Some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
Qu'êtes-vous?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross, Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol.
Mais ça fait pas des dizaines et dizaines d'années que c'est fini, l'armée de la commune de Ravachol?
I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
Son regard vite se porte de nouveau sur les roseaux.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in 07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in 08. I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
Ça fait 43 ans que vous étiez sur cette île?
No.
Du-
I've been on other islands too. I was an resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
Donc vous êtes caché pendant 43 ans. Donc vous êtes un soldat communiste de l'armée communiste?
43 years and 10 months.
Vous êtes tenu bon?
It's not how a human being should live. But I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
What have you been doing during all this?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
Ton regard se pose sur la mer.
Where the afternoon grows late, on Rue de Saint-Ghislain, people walk home. Street lights will soon be lit. Further inland, the streets are alive with workers, men, women, children, street hawks and migrant laborers. The temperature is steady. Alto cumulus cloud.
Always waiting.
Guillaume détourne le regard digital et se tourne vers vous. Qu'est-ce que vous attendiez?
For her to return.
J'attendais qu'elle revienne.
Her who?
Girl child. Revolution.
Vous attendiez une nouvelle révolution. J'ai bien peur qu'elle ait disparu à jamais. Moi aussi, à l'intérêt à venir, moi aussi, je voue mon existence à l'économie sociale mazovite.
A waste. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind and themselves. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
Si je comprends bien, vous avez abandonné votre faction.
I was just 16 years old, 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Un moment de doute.
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took
Qu'est-ce que vous attendiez?
for reaction to take hold.
Quoi la réaction?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
Quand est-ce que c'est arrivé exactement?
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic. The combined might of international capital, all at once, all the greed and terror in the world, tore into Revachol.
Qui a une voix vraiment
It
classe.
lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the Flak Tower.
Il a dit que la tour reste à la main. Putain, il a une voix tellement classe. Wow.
Huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
Tourne le regard vers l'est.
A terrible shame still within him. The lobes of his ears are red with it. The shame and smallness of what he became.
Il n'est pas allé au poste de commandement.
No. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers there, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened at the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
Il a visé au sol. C'était quoi ça? C'est une machine gun, non?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
Quoi donc?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed. And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know.
Quoi?
That the bourgeois are not human.
Quelque part, je m'en doutais aussi. Ne rien dire, laissez conclure.
I had to. I had to fight it. I had to never stop.
Le vieil homme s'interrompt. Son regard noir intense continue de vous observer, comme s'il scrutait quelque chose au loin. Il secoue la tête lentement, puis s'éloigne de son image mentale. C'est quoi cet endroit, cette île? On vient de nous le dire.
It's not an island, Droit.
Droitard.
It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
Quelle était sa fonction?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
Bah, du débarquement, la reconquête de Revachol.
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
Déjà, je fais partie de cette engeance, la coalition militaire, un sauveur bien décidé à mettre un terme à cette folie. Il ne demande sans aucun doute l'assaut.
You don't know. You haven't seen it. Iblis.
Iblis.
The black-eyed angel.
Comment vous avez fait pour survivre aussi longtemps?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
Qu'est-ce que vous chouravez?
Supplies.
Qu'est-ce que vous chouravez?
Vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
How is your health, Mr.
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, Like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for his age. More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
De la droamine et d'autres antidouleurs à base d'opiacés. Vous devez certainement ressentir de vives douleurs.
I have been running out of that stuff.
Il fait claquer ses lèvres sèches.
There's no way he could manage the pain without them. It's safe to say he is addicted to
Vous
painkillers.
aimez la droamine, pas vrai?
It's the little joys. A dark joke. A sunshiny day. Morphine.
Il faut pas prendre cette situation à légère.
There's nothing to look over. The triage is in, and it's black. Administer morphine. Moribund.
Et niveau psychologique, comment vous avez fait?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
Ses yeux pivotent dans son crâne avant de reprendre leur position initiale.
I don't even know what. Inferno?
Moi aussi, j'ai des brèches dans la tête, dans le cerveau. Tu as remarqué que le temps, ça peut dire quelque chose.
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round. It's disgusting.
Ah, les enfants, si vous ne comprenez pas l'anglais, là, quand c'est traduit comme un putain de carrousel de foire, en VO, il n'a pas dit ça. Il a été un peu plus injurieux. Il baisse le regard, le visage brûlé par le soleil et le vent. Une grimace de douleur se cache quelque part.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
Vous êtes tenu à l'écart des gens pendant toutes ces années?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
Les mêlées des campagnes.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsoff coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
Comment est-ce que vous avez fait pour faire la navette entre l'île et le continent?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted. I just...
Il s'interrompt, le regard rivé sur les cabanes amassées de l'autre côté de la rive. Pourriez vous y installer, non? La cage arme sous 22B Saint-Gilles, nazier. Vous êtes allé au sol?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
Le fusil était irrécupérable.
I know.
So you've been there?
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
Il y a un petit bunker sous le bâtiment de Feld, vous y avez si la journée.
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Ils se sont suicidés.
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
Vous pourriez vous lancer dans le cabane de pêche.
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
Est-ce que vous fumez des
I
Tiumurtiris?
do.
C'est déjà arrivé d'en fumer sur le continent, disait une Finistère.
They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century.
Parlons d'autre chose.
The old man looks across the water at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
Il a dit que vous capitulez sans condition.
You're with the RCM. The coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol. The so-called Lieutenant W. Freighter.
On ne dit pas ça, la coalition, nous efforçons d'aider les citoyens. Seulement pour faire respecter la loi, on empêche ces bêtes sauvages de s'entretuer. J'ai bien l'intention de transformer la MCR en unité révolutionnaire Mazovitz. Ah oui, mais il a dit qu'il en avait plein à foutre. Seulement pour faire respecter la loi, on empêche ces bêtes sauvages de s'entretuer.
You're the RCM. You represent the Moralist International. The enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti communiste dans ce land. Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
A spray of blood from his mouth. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said.
Vous n'avez jamais signé l'acte de reddition de Ravachol.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Je savais que c'était un jeu pour moi.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
He just wipes the blood from his chin.
C'est une question d'honneur.
Honor is a feudal atavism. My motive is class.
Donc vous êtes un soldat communiste de l'armée communiste.
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
J'ai dit que vous avez été formé par le corps de défense affecté aux missions de patriotisme.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Et c'est donc le rôle d'un commissaire
The
politique.
old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology.
Donc là, vous avez été formé au communisme, c'est ça?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
Je suis aussi communiste.
No, you're not.
Libéraste?
You're a liberast.
Non, je suis vraiment communiste. Ma tête est bourrée de réflexions
All
communistes.
the real communists are dead. They died fighting for communism. Are you dead? No. You're an inert lumpen with a gun.
Detective, we have not come here to discuss ideology. We have come to ask questions regarding a murder investigation.
The old man spits into the fire pit.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
Vous avez servi de cette arme à quelle occasion?
I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Mais qui?
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
Mais...
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay, this is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while.
Pourtant quoi?
This is what you live for. The great serotonin, Jack. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Donc qu'est-ce que je suis censé dire à la fin? Et tuer des gens quand le combat ont pris fin?
What did I just say?
What did I just tell you? Don't drop the ball now.
Donc tu m'as dit, va droit au but. Voilà, je vais droit au but. C'est vous m'aurez envie de le dire. Avez-vous tué quelqu'un à cette arme au cours des 2 dernières semaines?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grow.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Est-ce que vous avez servi de cette arme pour abattre un colonel de l'entreprise de sécurité criminelle?
The who now?
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
Le fasciste appartenant à l'escadron de la mort qui s'est pris une balle dans la bouche la nuit du 4 mars.
Oh yes, that one. Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. The gun. The scent of blood in the air. But what else? Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
Non, j'ai ceci.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun, not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those, jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
La tête changée, nous l'avons à la barbe du crime.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it? Good.
Boum, monter un niveau.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Je suis plein de...
Murder.
Le vieil homme n'en dit pas plus. À nouveau, son regard se perd dans les roseaux et un tressautement parcourt son peuple. Nous avons fait une analyse balistique. Le tir provient de cette île.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
You had direct visibility. They are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession. You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part.
You're sad for your fascia brother, aren't you? One twig got broken. Now the others are sad.
Il fait un geste de la main. Un traitement par son visage puis un autre à l'heure du droit. Quel était qui m'échappe?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
Ah mais oui.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war. Nowhere else. Nowhere in all of Martinaise have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Merci ma douce caboche, ma tendre et douce caboche. C'est bien urbain de votre père.
Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul.
Il y avait du muguet dans la fenêtre de la victime.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly, nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
On ne trouve pas ailleurs à Martin ces fleurs, seulement ici.
They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May before they ruined it.
South, the Bay of Martinaise is dotted with little freckles of islets, turning green, with white flowers in
The coast too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash fuck.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
On trouve de trop souvent le parcours au visage. Une feuille nom de Calier. Ça vous dit quelque chose? C'est fleur, c'est sourire dans sa fenêtre.
Classier.
He knows her, but hadn't heard the name.
Vous n'avez jamais entendu son nom, pas vrai?
My ears don't reach the city.
Excusez-moi, je coupais la clim, j'ai commencé à faire frais. Vous la connaissez, n'est-ce pas? Ils étaient très intimes, la victime, elle, le mercenaire.
With the victim.
Il détourne les yeux de la blancheur conquérante du champ de fleurs et garde le silence. Intrinsèquement crispe sa mâchoire. Elle est la victime de qui? De lui?
Don't leave any loose ends. Get him on everything.
Vous pouvez me dire quelle marque il s'agit?
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa? Some shit.
Show me the souls, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
Les semelles de chaussures usées abordent les stries en spirale noire et blanche.
The maker is called Sansarique, and the size is 42 to 44. These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
Non, après c'est peut-être Rubik, mais c'est pas
The size fits, but not the sole.
Une seconde, il a peut-être une explication toute simple.
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
Les gens changent de chaussures, ça ne veut pas dire que vous n'étiez pas sur les lieux à fureter à proximité de la chambre de la veilleuse.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering. Look at the old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer, armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer, dripping with blood.
C'était aussi un soldat, c'était un homme. C'était un tueur, mais il faut respecter la loi.
Beating us to the ground, moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner. Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
Il fulmine les narines dilatées.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
You shot him.
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
C'est juste si la haine ne lui tire pas une larme.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you.
Retenez votre souffle.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase. And I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
Il affiche un sourire.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
And then?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
Mettons ce qu'on observe brièvement avant de rompre le silence.
Yes.
J'ai encore monté de niveau, j'ai 4 niveaux. Yes! C'est mon sang-froid. Et ma volonté.
And you were looking at Dan, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
Et puis il se lèche les lèvres.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
Pourquoi est-ce que vous les observiez la nuit?
I'm always looking.
Il incline la tête sur le côté, puis tourne son regard vers la ville. Un autre traussement moins violent lui traverse le visage.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle's scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
Clic. On appuie sur la gâchette.
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
He will not stop now. These dialectical materialist types never do. You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift. What strikes you about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who's spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild,
Il a l'air plutôt en forme.
indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing
Stimulé par quoi?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads, as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous, great leaps of emotion, from anger to grief, despair,
Une forme de démence.
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even. Not
Il peut-être de mauvais poids la force de vie dans ces conditions.
perhaps, but his seems more than that. The inner turmoil takes unexpected turns. In summary, you sense some underlying neurological disorder.
Est-ce que vous sentez bien avec votre mémoire?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
Il agite la main comme pour jeter quelque chose d'invisible.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course.
Qu'est-ce qui vous a particulièrement déplu la nuit du meurtre?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
C'était de la jalousie?
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself, drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second. Writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
The caliber of bullet he used does not do that kind of damage.
Vous l'observez depuis combien de temps?
Since she came to Martinez. I
Plusieurs mois,
saw
du coup.
her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous.
Est-ce
but
qu'elle
not
essayait de
scared.
cacher?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
Une sorte de récipient caché dans le côte, vous y avez juste un œil.
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy. We should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to phone. Oh, I mean,
Tiens, tu les as continué d'observer ensuite.
I did. She had a face like an archipelago with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook? From the documents?
Il est doué le petit.
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises. You can't make that out in a scope.
Les bleus, vous pouvez les voir à travers les lunettes d'un fusil.
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
It quickly comes to you.
Ces hématomes, vous ne les auriez pas vus à travers un trou dans le mur?
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
Ah ouais.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife.
Good for listening in, too. For hearing the moaning and the snorts.
Vous ne l'avez jamais vu à travers la fenêtre sur un toit?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
Vous avez emprunté le passage secret derrière la Wigan Rex. Vous y avez laissé vos empreintes après avoir changé de chaussures.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
Celui-là aussi donc.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen.
How did you get in there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
Il éprouve des sentiments pour cette femme?
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones.
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
Il y en a eu d'autres?
Yes, over the years. It's not unproletarian to feel something.
C'est pour ça que vous avez laissé les fleurs sécher devant sa fenêtre.
No.
Il secoue à nouveau la tête comme un tournesol sur une tige fanée. Pourquoi là?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of her room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
C'était quand?
The day after I killed him.
Et vous lui avez apporté du muguet?
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
Vous vouliez la consoler?
Maybe. I told you, I have holes in my brain now. I wouldn't just sit here waiting for you. If you came 10 years ago, I would have killed you.
In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you
En
once
définitive, vous
more.
n'en avez pas après lui, mais après elle.
Her.
Il répète ce mot en fixant le tas de sang depuis les roseaux, le coin de son œil
The
tressu.
lieutenant nods at you in acknowledgement.
Je crois monter niveau.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
Elle s'est enfuie, mais elle nous a conduits ici. Elle a découvert que quelqu'un l'épée depuis le fort. Je suis pas autorisé à vous le dire.
I know she's gone. Locked up, or on the run. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, this last week, at the fort, like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
Midtown, across the Bay of Revachol, cold rain falls on 40-story towers. Above them, Lausanne Central Aerodrome, a cocoon suspended in the grey sky by a web of suspension wiring encircled by hybrid aircraft.
Oh là là, j'ai voulu allumer le ventilateur, j'ai fait tout tomber quoi.
On the platform, a young woman is withdrawing from amphetamines, barbiturates, and alcohol. Yet still, she smiles among the crowd, among the great ghosts of the city she's leaving. Smaller, distant, hidden, not like the great chandelier she sees sparkle in the night below her. Streetlights, towers, tenements, and water, and across it, a dark strip of ruins he knew she knows. She was looking at the island, figuring it out, day by day, cigarette by cigarette.
We could get more. We've got him talking.
Who knows what he's seen and done over the years? Enough Take him in. Bend his arms behind his back and end this.
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. The familiar put, put, put of hatred.
Faut être plus précis.
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez is the worst.
Comment ça?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez.
On l'a remarqué.
It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins, in their lorries. Pumped full of steroids and Radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
C'est clair?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Oui, certes, t'imagines, et pas l'interrompre.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. In tents, like animals. Like those boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
Tout?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. The worst is that old cop parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day. It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too.
Il est mort aussi.
Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Quayamoran, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children. That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt Frisell is now dead.
Content de hocher la tête.
We did good when we pushed him under that horse car. If only, in the 30s, those disco whores.
Là, cette phrase, c'est un charabia incompréhensible dont vous ne saisissez aucun mot.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
Il aime pas les
There was something about a statue and nihilistic advertising agency people.
Whores.
Il déploie un effort colossal pour l'expulser à travers ses dents, la colère à son paroxysme. Vous avez parlé d'une statue.
Syphilis is a disease Philippe III contracted in a whorehouse. The statue is an abomination.
Une
The
abomination.
bacteria entered his brain and made him squander trillions on sparkling wine, cocainum, and monuments of himself. His son, Philip IV, the insane, contracted syphilis in the womb.
That is technically possible, although Philippe III was not actually syphilitic. He was just mad.
And he still went on to govern Revachol for 25 years. We lost 2 million lives toppling that mode of government. And those grotesque statues too. Hundreds of them.
La statue est toujours là.
What a keen remark. Yes, it is, isn't it? It's still there. Do you know why?
Parce que le roi et sa créée, ses astuces sont indestructibles.
No. Cynical design cockroaches like you erected a new, ironic version of it. We tore it down with honest working-class plastic explosives. But there it is again. Art is a bourgeois establishment. It's an affront to humanity. Every gallery should be bulldozed, and the artists should all be given 30 years of hard labor in Yekokat.
Wait, the bullet hole in Philippe's heart. The statue had been shot. That was him.
On n'est pas d'accord sur tout, hein.
It had to be. He's already proven capable of taking a
C'est vous
far
qui avez tiré sur la statue. Il y avait un pack de balles dans son cœur.
I did. A needless, sentimental gesture. I should have spared the bullet for a deformed monster of liberal capitalism. Shameful.
Yes, shameful. So many others to punish over the years. Isn't that right, detective?
The fat union man let them put it there. Corrupt as he is. Probably got a fat check for it too. Shared with the law.
He keeps having opinions about the union's leadership.
Il dit que le syndicat est social-démocrate comme Hitler est un faux social-démocrate.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment. So personal. He displays a familiarity with the union's top brass.
Est-ce que vous êtes déçu? Evrat Claire?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
On parlait d'Edgar, le frère d'Edvar.
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
Il dit à côté Edgar.
First against the wall with him.
Il arrête de trifouiller les cendres et se convainc de secouer la tête.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course. Maybe the Clears asked him to.
Vous les avez approchés?
I haven't approached anyone. I hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains. Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
C'était quand?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
De quoi est-ce que vous avez parlé?
Edgar did the talking. Paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform. Offered platitudes about the struggle. Flaunted his pink degree. Even quoted Marzov. Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzov. Oh, and charity too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
Quelle heure votre présence ici?
Let me be here. The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy.
Est-ce que,
But why such a courtesy?
pour le compte des frères Claire, dans le but de provoquer une émeute?
You know why I killed that fucker, Dwat. As to Edgar, I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics. They didn't stick. We parted ways.
C'est le chat là-bas. Tu ne voyais pas parce que la caméra elle est un peu basse. Ça va? Ça va? Logan? Ça va, tranquille? Tu veux de l'aide? Laissons faire sa vie. Vous me direz ce qu'il fait dans les commentaires, moi je le vois pas.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something. The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark.
J'attends qu'on vous ait rencontré Edgar. Les cas, on dirige pas les syndicats, je me trompe.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Qui était à la tête du syndicat?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation.
Ah, il l'a tué pour leur compte.
And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
Une femme, elle aussi, tout comme Clavier. Et elle a disparu du jour au lendemain.
Called in, they say, on the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
Plus easy.
No, that's not quite it.
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
Edgar a demandé à un tiers de passer l'appel, pourquoi?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is. The bend in the river.
Donc pourquoi?
Because she was dead.
Just say nothing.
Je vais rien dire.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled? Hard to say. It was a sloppy job. And a moving target. She was going home. Waddling. Dressed in yellow. Drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal, heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her, and the ruins.
Vous avez fait le coup, imitez la position.
It was someone shot her, or maybe she just fell. I get these violent ideations. My memory is filled with holes, especially the 30s. All I know is nothing changed. Not in the material base, not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled, sogged. Nothing came of it.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the... If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, you could walk.
Honnêtement, ça reste sous vidéo d'une voix parfaitement posée, l'air
They
de...
would track everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Go shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
Soit, indiquez votre tête. Mais moi je sais.
All you know is I saw it happen, and I liked it. I liked it a lot. Her plump body, bobbing up and down in that canal like a cork. That chick yellow bag still on her, strangling.
The same old freezing hatred.
Je veux pas qu'il parle dans son uniforme, vous parlez de Renee.
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June.
Ce jeu est anti-prolétarien. Quoi?
Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race.
Ouais, sa
A
petite tête.
tank maniac, race traitor. I remember him. I remember him from La Noce. Not him personally, his make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the liberals came to their rescue. We missed one, that one.
Il a dit qu'il a vu sur deux tremblements vers le cratère de loin de la place où se dresse un pin solitaire.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
Continue de hocher la tête.
Fat and plump, like a pheasant, just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross, shoot me.
Vous aimeriez le tuer?
Not yet. I like to look at him strut around, place the crosshair on his medals, right on his face, and just fiddle the trigger. Think about it. Let the bonbon melt in my mouth.
Save the treat for later?
He is a juicy bonbon, that one.
Juicy
A real
bonbon.
treat for the black day, the blackest. When I put that gun in my own mouth, I think. No, don't waste it. Put this lead in that cock, René. For the boys he killed. And then I look at him throw those balls, and I suddenly feel better. I even hid one bullet, so I'd always have one for him. Haven't seen him around lately, strutting around. Must be down with arthritis. I hope it hurts like hell. I hope he sweats.
René est mort de vieillesse il y a quelques jours.
No.
Oui.
I waited too long. I waited too long and now he's dead?
Oui.
I'm sorry, Mr. Dross. I understand you knew him for a long time.
They're all dead now. Fuck it.
If he really wanted to kill him so bad, he would have done. There must have been 1,000 black days on these islands. His health ailing.
Je tenais à lui.
All human beings care about each other. I cared for seeing his head explode. And now, God.
He reminded him of himself. The same hatred. The same. You tried to think of something else. But no. It's
fuck you.
C'est grâce à l'île où vous vous trouvez.
And I blew them all. What does it matter now? He's gone. Ancient dust.
T'as allé, monsieur Dross, on peut continuer.
You think I haven't seen people die? It's all I've seen them do. Fuck and die. All the other plans we had. To love. To colonize the Pale. It's all fucked.
He's not okay. This is just another black day in a row of black days. Something strange is keeping him together, making him endure.
Glad we talked about what?
His lip curled.
Glad we talked about what? What? But you said I would be taken to the...
On mènerait quoi?
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting. The wind picks up. The silence on the water is broken all around you. Little shivers of waves appear. The lieutenant continues.
Your wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand? Do you understand?
But...
Kim, il a peur.
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Une seconde. Légendaire. Oula, 42. Non, c'est rouge. 42%. Attention! Il est temps de se venger de la session précédente. Il est temps de se venger des 72 et des 83%. Il est temps de réussir à lancer à 42. Oui!
To your north, as it has been since you came to the coast, the reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other. But then, something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin, made of reeds and rushes.
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat.
Chut, Kim, vous avez entendu?
What?
What are you talking about? Is this really us?
Your skin crawls.
De la chair de poule. Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Oh! Oh, c'est les bêtes là! What the fuck? C'est immense!
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb, to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like
Cligner des yeux.
arms. It's still there. An unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin.
C'est quoi
What
ça?
are you talking about?
Une face me vient.
There's nothing there.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you, with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small.
Mais qu'est-ce qui se passe? Mais qu'est-ce qui se passe? Allô? Mais...
You feel your legs shaking under you, and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, vous voyez?
I can see it.
4 simple words, thank God. If you can see, then you're not insane. But that means it's really there, spinning slowly.
Qu'est-ce
in
que...
absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
Be very, very careful.
Fais un pas dans la direction de l'astropode géant.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Broter.
Non.
No, no. When the blood and flesh call, there is no discard. Fascism, Broter.
Mais c'est quoi ce fascisme?
Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachel's problems?
Mais je croyais que t'étais mon système circulatoire.
Quit stalling, Bruiser. We're talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing. The weak link.
Les libéraux?
Yes, them. But also Wermen.
Les faumes? Les faumes?
Men of Wer. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed. That's
La cuisine?
what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that women need to know their place.
Mais qu'est-ce que... Quoi? Mais qu'est-ce que tu racontes? Non. Mon estomac me lâche ou quoi?
Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth.
Et à quoi tu me parles de ça?
Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times.
Me fascine c'est quand même côté, et si on lui donnait un autre genre traditionnalisme.
Okay, that sounds much better. Traditionally.
Non mais non, mais je veux pas faire ça.
You're going to keep your vooz, right? Keep your vooz, Broter.
Non mais je vais pas faire un histoire corifère. Allô?
There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestine. It is one of betrayal and...
Non, je suis meilleur en... Là? Sang-froid, le sang-froid. Full jaune. Moi je vais full jaune.
Wow, you work hard.
Ah bon?
Oh, Yes, you hustle. You're a provider. It's tough out there, but you keep it real and provide.
Tu crois, ouais.
Oh yeah, like a horse, a workhorse, for hard work.
C'est quoi les fortunés au juste?
Look at yourself. You're a human pedometer. You must have walked 200,000 steps down cracked asphalt, mosaic. That is the sign of a hustler who never gives up. The world is harsh and people are evil. You didn't make it that way, and you won't let it break you. You ride.
Ouais, c'est vrai, je gère un peu, ouais. Ouais, la vie et la mort, quoi.
That's just what it's like. Life and death. But you got gills on your side, baby. Got those black papers with the faces of the innocents on them. You bring in the Franco. It ain't easy, but you do it. Day in and day out. You didn't make the rules, but you won't lose. You're a cop, and a sprinter, and a money printer.
Palpe sa race. J'ai au fils craché ce cylindre. Manama m'a aussi lâché ses thunes. Il y a aussi les trucs que je mets en gage chez ce truc, ce roi.
Can't say that. You shook him. You're a killer. A
Il
shot.
m'a aussi lâché ses thunes.
You didn't log that in as a donation either. You don't log any of that shit in. You're a
Il y a aussi les trucs que je mets en gage chez un mec un peu louche, ce roi.
Yeah, you're in the sales business. Shake 'em for shit and then pawn it off. Sure, sure. And has it been easy? Is life easy? Have you not gone into cardiac arrest? Are you not about to have an anxiety attack or shoot yourself in the mouth?
Je stream comme un
But you
bâtard.
still
Sans
hustle.
jamais
Are
reculer.
you rich?
Ouais, carrément.
Get out of here. You're a pauper. You work harder than anyone. Almost rode yourself to the grave, and you're still practically a...
C'est à cause du garde, il me prend tout pour il me prend pour une vache à lait. Les dés sont pipés. Il y a un créneau pour les flics corrompus, mais les flics immigrés ont cassé les prix du secteur. Et les impôts, mec, ça craint. Les dés sont pipés.
Boo-hoo. The system is broken. The establishment is keeping me down. That's not the fuck yeah attitude you're used to. What is this? Why are you so poor?
Bah, je comprends pas pourquoi je suis si pauvre.
Because of the taxes.
Ah.
G-Man's got his jam-covered sticky fingers in your pocket, stealing from you every time you buy, sell, walk, talk, fart. Aren't taxes almost non-existent in the Gossamer state that is Revachol?
Je croyais qu'aucun prévôt n'était prélevé.
You and I both, but they got those indirect modes of taxation. Sales tax, excise duty, extraction tax. This tax that doesn't even have a name. Plus, there's the stuff people in other countries pay for that makes them ask for more money from you here. The Gossamer state's a myth. 98% of all your money.
Oh, pas mal, je suis un fondamentiste du libre marché. Ça me semble un peu exagéré.
What are you not sure about? They're milking your nipples till they bleed. Can't you see? Aren't you sick and tired of having bloody nipples?
Donc, quoi est-ce que la déréglementation va résoudre le problème? Ça ne va pas résoudre mes problèmes d'argent. Tout ce que je fais, c'est rallier la cause du marché libre.
What are you, a racist? Don't be a racist. Be a cool immigrant, ultra-liberal free market. This guy's appropriating the emerging Boogie Street lingo as part of his sales pitch for the free market economy.
C'est d'imiter les jeunes de Boogie Street pour me rallier à ta cause, pas vrai?
Yeah, ain't it cool, Ryder?
Je passe mon tour, mec.
The creature stands on long stilt-like legs, antennae hanging from its head like a woman's hair, white and curled at the tips. It is no more than 5 steps away from you. Reed-like tufts stick out of its joints. As the insect moves its forearms, it produces a faint hiss. Like
Mais
a
qu'est-ce
real
qui se
career
passe?
machine spinning. The hiss is different from the strings you heard before. It says something else in a lower pitch.
Vous êtes rasé après les phéromones. J'ai raté! Mais putain! Du jeu de merde! Tu aurais dû sauvegarder. Et putain, 83% encore!
Barely get to take one step. The invertebrate
Et 1 et 2! J'ai fait 1 et 2!
skating away across the water. It's gone. Like it's blending into the tufts of reed.
Where? Where did it go?
Tiens, l'appareil dans une main et un bout de papier blanc qui se lobe dans l'autre. Non!
Looks like he doesn't like to stay out in the open for long.
Your voice echoes on the water.
Comment est-ce qu'il s'est pris? Il a plané sur l'eau? Alors vous avez réussi à prendre la
He
photo?
shakes his head in silence, an expression on his face that you've
Qu'est-ce qu'il y a à dire?
It's just a blur.
Et maintenant? Putain, j'ai pouvoir en beauté. Non, chien. Non, bordel du cul, là. Pourquoi je rate tous les 83%? On a une caisse. Oh, le casque. Et une lunette de fusil.
Brother, you've managed to collect all the armor pieces. Too bad it's too late for the big showdown.
Je crois pas que ce gars m'aurait aidé de toute façon. Regardez votre blessure.
It would have looked very impressive. Still, you found it all. Now your mortal coil is completely protected. Few cops are this futuristic.
Moi maintenant je suis vraiment invincible. Allez. Ces lunettes de fusil classiques de 30 mm peut être fixées sur presque tous les fusils à verrou de calibre 100 points. Son réticule télémétrique semble un peu daté. Dans son séjour émergé dans l'entre des phases midi, elle conserve un morceau dalle et quelques dysfonctionnements. C'est trop un casque en céramique aux yeux exorbités se trouvait dans le nid du phasmidé. Il sent l'iode et a encore des bandes de roseaux qui dépassent. Il n'est pas des plus confortables, mais vous pouvez toujours le porter. L'idée de l'enfiler ne vous rassure pas entièrement. T'as de sa mère là, le
What is
face.
it? What do you want from me?
Something is very wrong with him now.
Vous pouvez pas ne pas voir le phasmidé, sœur.
Mr. Doras?
The man does not respond. He keeps staring, black eyes glazed with fear and longing.
Posez gentiment votre main sur son pouls.
The plastic cape feels coarse. A light shiver passes the man. Other than that,
He's going into some kind of psychomotor immobility. The good news is, this solves our transportation problem.
the trembling mouth.
Between this and the broken tire he's used for a boat, I think it's safe to leave him here, while we go and get help. It will need to be medical first, I'm afraid.
Si je vais y arriver.
Old age and shock.
Je crois que c'est fini. Le choc le poisonné, ouais.
The appearance of the phasmid in conjunction with the stress of the arrest. He spent his entire life here. For him to leave would be...
Donc récupérer des choses dans le nid du phasmidé.
He stares into the reeds. Your words don't stir anything in him.
Montrer le casque.
Nothing.
If Kuno kicked it into the sea, as he said he did, the ebb would put it back here. This makes sense. Mr. Dross could have picked it up. Or the phasmid even. If it did, this is incredible.
Montrer la lunette détachée.
I lost.
Vous l'avez perdu, monsieur
He
Dross?
turns his eyes to the reeds again. As he's done,
He lost the scope. Then it somehow made its way over there. With the help of a magpie phasmid. This sight is a T9, Mr. Dross. Was it attached to the rifle when you made the shot?
silence. Not even a sigh. You've gotten all you will out of this poor bee.
Je vais laisser vous reposer, monsieur Dross.
The plastic cape flaps around his face. The blacks of his eyes are receding. His pupils are... The strength has all gone out of him. Just frail old bones in a sack of tracksuit trousers. And they will...
Putain, mais même le phasmidé, quoi! On aurait pu devenir célèbre et riche, là!
We should think about getting back to the mainland. To get help. He'll be safe here.
Putain! Même ça, putain, même ça! Pas possible ça. Ah, attends quoi? Il y a une entrée là. Hein, oh, il y a de l'argent. Ah, qu'est-ce qui se passe? Qu'est-ce qui se passe? Je vois un truc là, j'ai une main, mais... Tu vois. Je suis dégoûté. Je suis dégoûté, je suis dégoûté. Le dégoût.
Soft covers. ICM? This feels familiar somehow.
No. And
With its horns in the sky, the symbol of the commune.
Insulindian Citizens Militia.
On sait c'est quoi la
It's the
MCI?
official name of the Communards Army. The black and
Sounds an awful lot like.
it does. The RCM may descend from the IC. It's impossible to say. It was chaos after the war. The name was good for getting people to join us.
Nice political thought. A mediocre athlete would pant from dragging around his body on a busted crutch. But not you. You're thinking about politics with blood dripping down your thigh.
There were all sorts of groups and groupuscules back then. It doesn't really matter.
Et puis j'ai même pas sauvegarde avant, du coup je peux même pas revenir en arrière pour prendre une photo.
Let's. We are done here.
Putain.
The skiff rocks gently under your weight, but for the sound of conversation, you reach the jetty and climb out of the skiff.
Et où la meuf?
Honorable one, you have accumulated a substantial amount of honor points on your life path. You are a man most virtuous.
Attends, il y a des points d'honneur?
Of course there were honor points. Did you think no one was paying attention to all of your honorable deeds, honorable one?
C'est simplement d'agir au mieux comme tout un chacun.
Oh, the modesty on this one. Another 10 honor points for you.
Il y a 10 points pour Gryffondor.
You are on the fast track to becoming one of the rarest, most revered of all police officers, an honor cop. Living in the name of virtue and doing noble deeds while expecting nothing in return.
C'est
is
une
not
nouvelle
archaic.
pensée. C'est trop tard.
Selflessness forms the basis for the warrior code, an ageless code, as fit for nomadic Ilmaran tribes traversing.
Code
the
du garage,
vast red plateau
je me sens comme un guerrier, je commence à
of
comprendre, à me
as it
reconnaître
is
dans ton
for
plaidoyer.
You are like a wandering night monk setting right the. Are you ready to drink deep from the cup?
Tu as une vie que
of-
pour l'honneur.
Yes, your deeds have spoken for you, honorable one. But to fully drape oneself in an eternal cloak of honor,
Le rituel de
even
l'honneur.
among the honorable, only the most dignified are deemed worthy. Honor comes from deep within you, and to truly know oneself, you need to bring the thumb of your right hand, your sword hand, to your rectum and stick it in there to form the Arch of Honors.
Attaque. Hein? Lève ton pouce droit. C'est le doigt qui se referme sur le poignet de ton épée. À présent, enfile-le dans ton rectum pour former. Quoi? Pardon, c'est chaud comme nom. Là, en extérieur, il y a des gens alors. Enfilez votre pouce dans votre anus.
People will be in awe, admiring a police officer most honorable. In a
Je crois vraiment que je m'en fous un dos dans le
ritual
cul,
of
pas moyen.
most dishonorable are those who have known honor, carried honor in their hearts, and then you brought much shame on your family today. Your name will forever be tarnished by this.
Condé, pose mon dick, tape mon dick. Fait du piston. Il y a tellement de réflexions qu'on n'a jamais croisées. Mode de détection, celle du chewing-gum, parfum, abricot, écho. Oh, regardez son nombre de...
Look what the tide brought him.
Jean Vicmar. C'est qui Jean Vicmar? Ah, sans lunettes de soleil. Son expression change. Ah oui, c'est lui qui avait une perruque et une soleil.
I want to call you a teapot, but I'm honestly kind of impressed. No idea where you got all that gear, but there's no doubt in my mind that some bad people are looking for it. Also, you look like a fucking idiot.
Whatever this is, it is completely unimportant compared to what you've just seen. This is the man with sunglasses from the whirling in rags. But where are his sunglasses?
Mais vous êtes l'homme aux lunettes de soleil.
That's right. And you're some kind of murder machine.
Esquivez-vous.
Hello, I'm Trent Heilerstein. I believe we've met on several occasions.
Ah, vous étiez en train de parler avec votre fils, non?
I'm your goddamn partner, Jean Vicomar, and this is your special task force. Or what's left of it.
Je suis ton collègue. C'est Jean Vicmar, c'est mon collègue. Ah.
Special Consultant Trent Heidelstam, Patrol Officer Judith Minot.
Ah, mais c'est des potes. Alors ça va être deviné grâce à vos vestes, mais...
Hi.
We've come to scrape what's left of you off the pavement.
Vous voulez récupérer sa petite cuillère? Quoi? Plus de reste, hein, je suis très bien. Moi.
Lieutenant Kim Kitsuragi, Prison 57. We've just come from the island, where our investigation led us.
The scene is making even him feel as though he has to just...
We might need your help with something later.
As if he recalled that he's in fact a decorated police lieutenant.
But this is clearly a departmental matter, so I'm going to leave you to discuss it among yourselves.
Réduisons les embrouilles. Merci, lieutenant.
It's good to meet you, Lieutenant Kitsuhagi.
Letting the lieutenant know he shouldn't feel embarrassed over the shitstorm that's about to befall you.
Yes. Ah merde, ça me dérange
Oh,
personne.
really? They don't seem bothered by it. That's because you're a cop in an exoskeleton.
Ouais, je suis un flic à bord d'un squelette.
Actually, are you? Are you still a cop? There's so much
Vic, calm down.
Gars.
We're not forgetting about anything. Look at you.
C'est quoi ce bordel?
Sorry, we want to help you. Trent, I believe this is where you come in?
I don't quite know what I'm doing here. I was asked to participate as an expert. I think I need to manage your expectations a little. I'm at best an enthusiast in cognitive science. My background is in something else entirely. I engage in neurology on a merely theoretical level. In fact, I should probably get going.
No, Trent, it's too late. You're part of this shit now. What have you got to say for yourself, shit kid?
Mais qu'est-ce que t'as, toi? Calme-toi.
What does he have to say for himself? He left you to catch the bullets. Shit, kid. What an interesting moniker.
Clown du service, Kezako.
You, shit kid.
Maybe you've deserved it.
Vous n'êtes même pas blond. Et vous m'avez dit que vous étiez pas face de jument. Du coup, Trent Edelstam, mais en réalité, consultant spécial Trent Edelstam.
God damn it, Harry. You told us to fuck off. You said we're cramping your style. Your detective god. Fuck everything. All will burn. Detect or die.
Hein? Ah mais c'était l'autre moi, ça. Je suis un nouvel homme, maintenant. Vous me laissez affronter une escouade de tueurs entraînés juste pour me donner une leçon? pourquoi avoir laissé seul un véritable dieu de la police?
It wasn't like that.
Fuck you, Harry. We didn't know there was gonna be a tribunal, did we?
Vous étiez dans le Whirling Rags. Ça se passait devant. À quel moment t'as pas su? Fous de ma gueule ou quoi? Même Garth, il est venu nous voir. Putain, mais... Alors, pourquoi vous avez pas fait ça? Ok, t'es au crevé.
Oh, you think it was cool you saying that? Aesthetic somehow? You were crying when we got here. Breaking things. You said we were going into the abyss. None of us wanted to see the abyss. So we fucked off. Like you told us to.
Comment être?
The cafeteria manager you fucked over told us where you went.
Après toute cette histoire, Sylvie, il ose me trahir. J'ai sauvé son testament et il me trahit.
Strange. He didn't mention that. In fact, the establishment didn't look saved at all. There was a giant aerograffito in front of the building, mixed with blood.
C'est je n'ai... Ouais, c'est moi, c'est un geste politique. Politique.
I don't know. It had shit kid written all over it. Guilty as charged. I heard you'd lost your mind and your memory. I wanted to see if it was true, and it was. Good work, Harry. You're insane now. There's one less person for me and everyone.
He was too sarcastic for you to realize who he was.
En fait, je soupçonnais qu'il y avait Guy Sauve, carrément. J'ai raté tous mes jets à chaque fois pour le reconnaître. J'ai raté tous mes jets à chaque fois.
Did you? Or did you literally not recognize my face? We've been partners for how long, Harry? Don't answer that. You don't remember.
Il a parlé d'un groupe tactique.
Yeah, Major Crimes Unit, under Lieutenant Dubois and Vicomar. Ring any bells?
Affichez-moi la marque et d'autres appartenant à cette unité.
Refresh your memory? It's a goddamn Major Crimes Unit. There's you, me, Jude, Tron fucking Heidelstown, and Guillaume Baby.
Guillaume Baby?
I'm technically just a civilian advisor.
Oh, fuck you. You're part of this shit show.
C'est qui Guillaume Baby?
Oh, that's an interesting story, actually. Guillaume Baby is a police reporter who joined our team. He was really good. Then he left because he lost faith in your ability to lead the unit. Other people have left too. Good, smart people. People we won't get back. Only me and this really patient patrol officer are still here. And Tron because I'm forcing him to stay.
Is this Guillaume Bevy blonde and partial to sunglasses?
Mais non, mais... Comme votre déguisement.
See? There. He's getting it. I was impersonating him. Look at me, I'm G-Bevy. It was going to be funny, but then you really did have brain damage. So not so much anymore.
He sincerely thought it was going to be amusing for both of you.
Très bien. À quoi sert l'unité?
Do. It's a major crimes unit. We clear the desk of cases so Precinct 41 doesn't look like the worst station in town. We are shit tier now, Harry. Because of you.
The 41st isn't...
Vous m'avez jamais dit que vous étiez face de jument. Mais pourquoi je vais l'insulter l'autre?
Yes, I'm Tran Heilestein. I never said I wasn't Tran Heilestein.
En fait, qu'est-ce qui s'est passé avec le gosse?
Mikhail? Mikhail's my son.
Ouais, vous m'espionnez?
No, I was just interested in the Feld building and the Martinez beachhead. And Mikhail wanted to see Martinez. It was a coincidence.
Vous êtes venu faire quoi ici, monsieur le consultant spécial?
What indeed? I was asked to share my take on some of the more obscure theories developed in Königstein in the 30s, like partial psychotraumatic amnesia, group personality theory.
He's here to see if you're insane. He is smart. Let's move on.
Tout le monde ment sur sa variabilité.
Hey, here's a brilliant idea. Don't be a morbid drunk and you won't be duped so easily.
Dites-moi, vous êtes bien qui vous prétendez être?
Yes, I'm still Kinki Solagi, still a lieutenant from Precinct 57.
C'est jamais, hein.
The bells aren't ringing because you have brain damage. Trant, this is where you come in. How bad is it?
Well, he doesn't have visible tremors, he talks without slurring, he can drive a boat, he's standing, reasoning. All good signs, but complete retrograde amnesia, episodic and semantic.
Meaning, You forgot both who you are and the definitions of money, Isola, pal, and so on.
Non, ça s'est revenu.
As displayed in your interactions with him here and previously at the bar, and I don't want to be a snitch, but also mine with him before when Harry did not seem to know who I was. It's all
Interesting?
Yes, interesting. I have my theories, but I would like to hear Harry's thoughts first. Harry, what do you think happened to you? Neurologically, psychologically, and why not socioeconomically?
Socio-économique, vous pensez que ma pauvreté m'a fait perdre la mémoire?
Not when you phrase it like that. But I don't think critical theory. I know everyone thinks this is far-fetched pink academia, but still.
What? He lost his memory because of capitalism?
Ah ouais, bah oui.
No, not like that. I'm not talking Vrede for school here. But Harry, I asked you, what do you think happened?
J'ai tout inventé, comme je le dis à lieutenant Kitsurari, je sais parfaitement qui je suis. J'ai utilisé cette méthode pour résoudre cette affaire. Il m'est arrivé quelque chose de si triste que je ne pouvais plus être moi-même. C'était un mécanisme de défense. Ah, le capitalisme. Le capitalisme m'a baisé jusqu'à l'os. Trent, t'as raison. Eh oui. Tout ça à cause du capitalisme. Eh oui, eh oui.
Psychotraumatic amnesia, Trant? I can go for that. Shit kid is a broken man. Always has been. Who isn't? I know I
J'ai voulu jouer, j'ai voulu vraiment
you know what?
prendre les blagues, mais...
I keep my shit together. Also, I know a person can't wipe their own mind, however traumatic it gets. That doesn't happen. You're lying, or insane, or...
But Detective Vigmer, he has blanked out before.
Vraiment?
Yes, a couple of times. After some of the more serious benders. One was after the two drunks case, the other when we looked into that mural.
So you don't remember not remembering. Beautiful.
Je me rappelle pas que je me rappelle pas, c'est le comble.
Interesting. So at first he dipped his toes into it, prepared. That's where he would have gotten the idea, yes. Practice. And then he used alcohol to get there, so...
What do you mean?
Well, here's my theory. What if this is an absolutely normal reaction to the world we're living in? What if this is not a significant anomaly at all? Something to be explained, approached as a defect? Look at the sensory input here. Look at the ruins, the neon. Listen to the radio, the multitudes, the people. Live here for 40 years. As a police detective, he's like a magnetic reader on the world team, to borrow a known metaphor. Harry's been pushed flat against it, hardwired to the free market. He just needed for it to end.
Okay, Trent, thank you. That's absolutely meaningless. I'm glad we brought you. Will he or will he not be able to work in the major crimes unit? Is he a crétin now? I want to know that.
He's not a cretin, and he is able to do work. If not in his previous leadership role, then as a line detective.
Je suis prêt à reprendre mon poste de chef de l'unité. Et vous tous vous faire foutre, je veux pas être dans votre unité. Je suis presque envie de lui dire, j'ai plus envie d'être dans votre unité. Je suis prêt à reprendre mon poste de chef de l'unité.
No one even mentioned that. I misphrased my question. It should have been, is he able to put his clothes on and use the potty? Or do we need to get him on a disability pension? Now nothing. Now we're just going to stand here.
Restez planté.
Yeah. Just stand there. It's cool. No. Now we discuss that. What the fuck did you do to a motor carriage? Why is it there, Harry?
Quoi, dans l'océan? Fin de l'ignorance. Elle a été volée par Jacob Hir. Je l'ai conduit tout droit dans l'océan quand j'étais ivre. Je pensais que le tueur se trouvait sous l'eau, mais c'était pas le cas. Tequila Sunset, d'ailleurs, j'ai aussi sauté dans le canal. Je sais pas ce qu'elle fait là-dedans. Tequila Sunset.
Ha. Ho. Tequila Sunset. Jump the canal. So funny, Harry. Thank you for fucking me. Thank you for destroying 45,000 real of police property that's coming out of my payslip. You know that, right? You're gonna get fired, and I'm gonna pay till I die. It doesn't matter. Your badge, Harry. Show me your badge.
Mon signe. Par contre, j'ai une arme shooteuse.
In a rush to demonstrate your badge, your eager fingers can't sustain a grip on the smooth plastic, and the badge slips out of your hand. Not today, badge.
Donc ils vont faire tout en plat, j'ai un signe, tout va bien. Voici mon insigne.
And your gun?
Oh, le jeu il vérifie, hein. Le jeu il vérifie, hein. Pas la main du monde après pas avoir ce plastique dans votre main.
As if having your badge and gun are natural states, not achievements. What is it with all these material objects?
Physiquement, vous avez su que j'ai perdu mon arme. Voilà mon arme. Montrez William de fenêtre. J'ai une nouvelle arme maintenant. J'ai échangé mon arme contre un fusil. Une arme, rien, toutes mes armes. Au contraire, j'ai pas assez de mains. Montrez vos 2 pistolets et vos 2 fusils.
I don't care about your collection, you hoarding freak. Is one of them your service weapon? I only want to know about that one gun.
Quoi sont des armes remarquées? Oh là là, c'est bon, je l'ai.
He has it. And he didn't drop it. You're drunk like a bum, Harry. Put that thing away before you kill someone.
Je n'ai pas perdu mon arme, je l'ai. Montrez l'arme. J'ai arrêté de boire pour toujours. Je suis seul dans ce trou à rats maintenant.
I don't buy it.
He's wounded. It's been a long week, and he's handled an actual corpse.
J'ai fait partir l'odeur de cadavre. C'est à cause des phéromones. Ouais, j'ai manipulé un cadavre. Ouais, c'était une semaine difficile, désolé si je pue.
A bit of a week? You're drunk, and you let a suspect escape, a certain Clasier, because you were too drunk to assess a flight risk.
We've read the reports, Harry. Lieutenant Kitsuragis. We know.
On peut pas la mettre sur les routes, c'est la bonne chose à faire. Elle m'a donné un indice crucial qui nous a conduits sur l'île.
Oh, well, if she was nice. I'm not even gonna get into the other suspect, the one who shot herself in the head, or the fact that you're Everclear's little peony now, doing I don't know what for him. That's small-time stuff. That's nothing. That's a humorous anecdote, compared to the 8 people who were gunned down. The streets are literally red with blood, Harry. It was fucking mass murder.
Ça, c'est la malchance, ça. Ça, c'est la malchance d'aider, ça.
He did everything he could. We did everything we could. The company hired and vetted mercenaries. Lieutenant Dubois got between them and the locals. He did so at considerable risk to his person. Remember, he was shot. We stopped an execution, not a negotiation. The loss of life was minimal compared to what it could have been.
Ouais, rien de plus à ajouter. Ouais, j'ai aussi résolu l'affaire. Elle est résolue dans son intégrité. Ouais, c'était un massacre, on s'est fait défoncer. Et vous étiez où, bordel?
Don't make this harder for yourself.
Thank you for the input, Lieutenant Kitsuragi. I didn't mean to suggest you didn't handle the situation. You've spent the week with him, on this case.
On the case?
On Lieutenant Geoffretor Dubois.
Well, the drinking, the gun losing, also losing the badge. That's all true. Although he has not been drinking on the job this week.
Eh oui.
See?
1 week.
Then there's the superstardom. He likes to, from time to time, allude to being a superstar.
Putain, je me fais juger. Ah, c'est un tribunal.
Joke, but now I'm not so sure. He says disco about 20 times a day.
Oh là là. Ah, le juge, hein. Je me fais juger. Oh là là, le tribunal. Oh, je me prends un tribunal dans la gueule.
It's worrying, especially considering his political views. Detective Dubois is, as you may know, a Mazovian
Et alors?
He wants to liquidate the ruling class, which, again, for a police officer.
Mais j'ai jamais dit que je voulais liquider la classe dominante. Oh là là. À quel moment j'ai dit ça? On peut plus avoir un avis politique maintenant. On peut pas être communiste sans avoir envie de tuer tous les bourgeois.
You should yell something.
C'est pas une bonne idée.
Yes, let's let the big boys talk.
And then there's the motor carriage in the sea, something I was not present for. But despite all this, he is a great detective. One of the best I have seen, in fact. He can talk human beings into telling him everything. And he doesn't stop. In all the time I've spent with him, he has not once stopped pursuing leads, however far-fetched and tangential. He is tireless. Well, except that one time when he stopped to sing karaoke, which, by the way, I have to disagree with you, Mr. Vicmar, was a valiant effort. He really sang his heart out.
Okay, he did something.
Et en plus, non, j'ai pas remercié. Ah non, j'ai pas remercié Kim.
Other than that one time, he has tirelessly worked on the case, and he solved it. We have a confession, a murder weapon, and the perpetrator, locked on the island right now, awaiting transportation. He apprehended a revolutionary brigade who stayed hidden for 50 years, ever since the revolution, who's probably committed other murders over those years. Oh, and he also discovered a new species.
Ouais, mais ça, on n'a pas la photo, du coup, personne va nous croire.
A new species?
A colossal stick insect, 3 meters tall. It's on the island, camouflage as the reeds. It unfolded from them. I didn't... I know this sounds fantastic, but I'm a 4 times decorated lieutenant of the RCM. I do not make up encounters with...
I don't doubt you, Lieutenant. If you say it was the Insulindian phasmid, then it was the Insulindian phasmid.
Bam, dans les dents. C'est incroyable, pourtant c'est vrai. Comme vous pouvez le voir, je suis pas si nul que ça. Je suis un putain de gros communiste. Ne rien dire. On va rien dire. On va laisser nous juger.
By God. Is it somehow connected to the case?
Non.
The killer did not seem to be aware of the phasmid's presence, exhibiting a strange, atypical dementia. He fell into a stupor after its appearance. He became near catatonic.
So it is connected.
We could order a search. I could get people from EPIS on the island, entomologists, doctors. There must be signs of it in the reeds. If we found the Insulindian phasmid, well...
There, you need to make your case now. The floor is all yours. He prepared it well.
Tout ça. Allez, j'ai aussi monté une discothèque dans la ville.
What was that? It sounded like you set up a nightclub in the church.
Ouais, j'ai lancé la vie nocturne locale. Ouais, j'ai découvert un phénomène anthroponétique jusque-là inexploré dans l'église, un trou de 2 millénaires dans le monde.
That's great. Anthroponaut is a great new career for you. After police officer. I don't care.
4 kids were living in a tent on the ice. They were going to drown when it melted. It's not optimal, but the building was abandoned, so he put them...
It's not that okay. Get off this subject now.
Une femme a utilisé les roseaux pour faire son lit.
Female?
You had to see it. It had the subdued colors of a female. And...
Incredible. Were there...
Not as far as I could see. There were other things there, though.
On sait que t'avais reçu des jeux dans son lit. Un casque et une lunette. Je crois qu'il se reproduit par parthénogenèse.
Actually, you know, this would indicate it was a male. This is far from anything in my field, but I think such nests are called bowers. They are for attracting mates. Of course, as I said, I'm only guessing. I didn't see it. It must be robust if it can move a whole helmet with its limbs.
Je crois qu'il se reproduit par parthénogenèse.
As in cloning itself? What makes you think so?
C'est ça qu'il me l'a dit. Mais non, il me l'a pas dit. J'ai foiré un jet à 83%, bordel de cul. Mes observations.
Well, then it wouldn't matter if it's a male or female. The bower would just...
That makes sense.
Very interesting. Such organisms are extremely vulnerable to disease. A single strain of bacteria could wipe out the whole...
In his mind, he's already planning a nature reserve and knows a good guy.
Créa a demandé qui ressemblait à des poils et elle est complètement blanche à l'intérieur.
Yes, but also reed-colored, beige and brown, a little green on the outside. After unfolding from a single stalk, it still retained parts that looked like reed tuft.
Incredible. It's a toughie that you don't have a photo. This would look very, very flashy in the papers. None of it says vigilante murderers to me at all. Great PR.
Ah mais ouais, mais j'ai raté un 83% encore une fois.
I tried to, but I only got a blur.
Ouch.
We can still work. Cop discovers new species in there. I know a good guy in La Majeste, but only after the École Supérieure people find it.
It needs to be white coats and glassware for this fly. We need
You're doing good here. Quit while you're ahead? Or no?
On va découvrir le mobile du meurtre. Lilianadovic Dross.
Lilianovich. A revolutionary matronym. The custom started in Grad, where they have patronyms. Krasovich, Lasovich, etc. The revolutionaries saw this as a chauvinist atavism, so they used matronyms, derived from the mother's name. This man's mother was Lilian. His Lilian's son, Lilianovich. The custom was overturned after the revolution failed, but not before.
So, it is what a soldier of the ICM would be called.
Thank you, Trant. Thank you for that piece of cultural theory.
Of course, excuse me, I just thought it was noteworthy.
He wasn't quite sure about the straggler before he heard this detail. It must have convinced him.
Il a tué ma soeur dans un acte de jalousie.
Jealousy. I thought this Lilianovich was an old man, to have been hiding for 50 years.
A strange psychosexual fascination, the result of spending all this time in solitude on the islands of this bay. And trauma too. He himself gave a political reason. In his mind, he had killed an enemy combatant. Also, we have ballistics from the gun, matching the bullet found in the dead mercenary's head, and 2 officers on the scene that Mr. Dross confessed.
It's a clean win.
Oh, it's way more than that.
Ouais, c'est bien, c'est un mécanisme de pliage parfait comme le phase-miner.
Perfect folding mechanism. Get over yourself, Harry.
God damn it. Doesn't it ever leave? It will pass. In time.
Les bananes ont été essayés par un tueur.
This is a conversation for when we are no longer out in the open. In Martinez, where Evrard
and eyes too. Your return from the island must...
Understood.
I would prefer not to partake in anything union-related, for political neutrality.
This has to be good stuff for him to backpedal out of it at first mention.
Il y avait un homme mort.
Yes, yes. Fallen through a gap in a boardwalk. Drunk.
The body was transported to Precinct 41, our morgue. I had to...
You're not the only cop in the world, Harry. This...
Still, good work with the missing person.
It's still a point for you.
Allez.
No denying it.
Tu as aussi enquêté sur le mystère de la zone commerciale maudite.
I don't know what a doomed commercial area is.
C'est un bâtiment commercial où toutes les entreprises ont fait litige. J'ai enquêté sur cette affaire.
Why? That's not what you were supposed to do.
There was a fridge we needed and a possible witness. He was just chasing a lead and ended up advising a local shopkeeper.
Of course. Call it community outreach, right?
Dodged the bullet there. For a moment it seemed like you were just wasting time.
Alors qu'est-ce que vous en dites? Vous allez reprendre ce cadavre?
I want to, but you discovered a new species and solved the murder.
Excusez-moi, je buvais un coup. Qu'est-ce que tu disais, Jean-Vic Mar? J'ai pas très bien entendu. Tu peux répéter?
So I have to. Jude.
Anything that ends the trial is okay with me.
Agreed. The public relations potential of this is too valuable to let go.
Okay. We have vehicles in the square, and the perpetrator needs to be taken into custody. Let's go.
Faut savoir qui je suis.
The man looks westward, jingling his car keys in his pocket.
Qui suis-je?
Who are you? You're a gym teacher, Harry.
Quoi?
Well, obviously you're not a gym teacher anymore, but...
Avant?
Before you were a cop, you were a gym teacher in Coran. It's getting really cold outside.
Ça explique pas mal de trucs. Un guerriero, prof de sport. Ça explique pas mal de trucs.
Harry, it explains everything. The running around, the jumping, the bicep girth, your inexplicable facial hair.
La collection de vêtements de sport femmes que j'ai récupéré.
Some of your more old school wording choices. Your posture, even. The constant stretches.
J'adore le jeu qui trouve une raison logique au fait que j'avais pas envie de me traîner le cul pendant tout le jeu, quoi, et que j'appuyais, je double-cliquais pour courir.
Also, this guy.
Ah, bah oui. This
Everything
guy.
about and this guy too. God, even this javelin throwing freak here.
Contact Mike.
Of course. Contact Mike.
He's been on about Mike again. I hate that guy.
Contact Mate est une reprise de l'un des principes de sport basiques les plus inspirants de la compétition libre. Un outsider à 5000 contre 1.
Oh, you don't say. Does he also vault an impassable gulf of finance at
It is getting cold out.
Non, c'est à quand est-ce que j'ai été prof de sport?
in your 20s or late 20s? You've really let yourself go since then.
Ça va. Je suis prof de sport à Couronne.
Yes, you taught gym in Cool. I believe that's the term. Taught gym at a high school. You were a high school.
The smell of sweat and glue. Kuro is just east of Jamrock. It was a short walk every morning to the baseball field.
High school. Harry, your goings on with Kuno, Andre, Assel, the whole thing on the ice. That's why you are so juvie.
Bah oui, ah bah bien sûr, ah bah logique.
His smirks at this clearly contained laughter.
Pas la peine à t'empêcher de rire, ah bah moi aussi là je rigole bien fort. Oui, j'ai dit aux gens les forces grandes de la MCA.
The regular. You found some chick. She inspired you to fight the big fight. Be more than you are.
You, every morning, walking from Voyager Road to teach gym. She, leaving for the academy with her spring coat on. The air filled with the smell of smoke and raspberries, and incredible hope.
Ok, je comprends maintenant.
I knew it. I knew no normal human being can run like that. He's an honest-to-God gym teacher.
Et si j'avais marché pendant tout le jeu, imagine, je refais tout le jeu, mais je marche. Je me ferais chier comme un rat mort. Hein. Mais est-ce qu'il dirait la même chose à ce moment-là? Pourquoi je suis comme ça?
It's not a mystery. Some chick fucked you over. Also, you were
You really went with it too. Really maximized the...
Gonzeski.
Dora something. Dora Ingeland. Yeah, you mentioned her name.
Not Dora Dubois.
Ah bon? Mais t'es même pas marié?
No one is married anymore. This is Revachol.
C'était quand?
God, I don't know. 6 years ago, she was way before my time.
6 years and you haven't gotten over it.
Ouais, 6 ans.
What the hell is wrong with you?
On va dire que c'était 36 ans.
Yeah, or 7. You're not doing too good there. It's an old man thing. 2 old years equals 1 normal year. That and Dora Ingeland really tore you a new one.
Qui était-elle?
Incredibly bangable.
Hein?
She was extremely fuckable, Harry. Gorgeous. A gorgeous bourgeois woman. Wayfish. Like a Welkin, basically.
Une femme bourgeoise magnifique, c'est donc pour ça que je suis communiste. Avec, voilà, je fais mon Kim, hein, je trouve un lien débile à toutes les réponses.
Snow Welkin. Pain Welkin.
I've only seen a picture, but it's obvious you formed a real spiritual connection with how pretty she was. When you never...
Look, the sun is about to go down.
I think she taught in the Académie des Arts.
Je dis qu'on a marre.
Way east. Hard to say which came first, the middle-class chick or the drink. Egg and the chick. My point is, you need to see a psychiatrist about this shit. Not a psychologist. Several degrees harder. Is there something harder than a psychiatrist? A forensic psychiatrist? Go talk to them.
In other words, he's heard enough about this.
Quel genre de poste c'est le poste 41?
Us? We're the bloody murder station, haven't you heard? With the bad guys. No one likes us.
That's not true. Jamrock is too big for one precinct. You are just understaffed, and everyone respects the 41st. You have Captain Price.
Ah, Captain Price! Oh, putain, on a Captain Price, quoi!
Thank you, Lieutenant. You're being kind. It is an understaffed station and the district is too big, which is why we need to...
Je suis ancien en tête en direction du nord.
Get back to it. We left Torsen and McLean to run the Sea Wing. It's not good.
Tarsen et McLean?
Mac the Torso Torsen and Chester McLean. They're not fit
McLean!
for the wing.
Comme John McLean?
Things are shaky as it is.
They are damn iconic though. Torsen and McLean.
T'as ici un duo légendaire.
Yeah, not like us. Two clinically depressed old men. Where's the contrast here? We are garbage.
Et la LCD.
God. There are 4 wings, Harry. A, B, C, and D. We're in C. It's made of losers and clock punchers. You and I reconceptualized it as a task force. It was a mistake.
There's also a lot of outside help involved, not only me. Other losers too.
Du Price, c'est
Ptolemy Price? He's the son of the old Price, one of the founders of the RCM.
Il s'appelle pas Captain Price.
He's one of the most highly regarded men in the force. You're lucky.
Est-ce que par hasard on n'aurait pas récemment mitré une église?
So he remembers that. Yes, there may have been a raid on some churches. It wasn't good press.
Shooting up churches never is. I was out of town, to be clear.
C'est passé pourquoi t'as tué intervenant.
Our enemies were hiding in a church, to the best of our information. That's it. I'm not talking about this anymore. Your security clearance is shit tier right now.
He means it. The RCM and its enemies will not be discussed on this. Your clearance will not go up while you're within earshot of the Union headquarters.
Mais non, mais je suis pas dans le truc du grognon. Oh, putain.
Okay, it's not the bloody murder station. It's an old converted silk mill with green desk lamps and a coffee corner.
Jamrock is the largest ghetto in Rivershore. Faubourg, technically, but
The press will blow over. Jamrock is lucky to have you, and it's often considered to be the greatest of the districts.
Thank you again, Lieutenant. Who is...
She lives at 1113 Tabernacle Road in Jamrock. Remember?
Tabernacle? It's on the way over. Near where you live on Perdition.
Fine. If we're gonna drop you...
She and her husband were conducting the search for the fact they should know as soon as possible. Even if...
Watch out or she'll faint.
Qu'est-ce que vous faites à présent maintenant, lieutenant Kadge? On va séparer, lieutenant Kitsugaragi?
Well, first I will go back to my station.
Vous voulez pas venir avec moi pour toujours? Je l'aime pas l'autre là, je veux plus être son partenaire.
It will have to be good to cover all these. Then I will have a serious talk with my captain.
Quel sujet?
Detective, we just stopped a small-scale war. Something is happening to Revachol.
Il remonte son col et regarde autour de lui. La froide lueur du printemps se reflète dans ses lunettes.
I don't know what yet, but it's going to be a hard spring for the RCM. We need to get ready, infiltrate, investigate.
Vous voulez pas faire ça au poste 41?
Talk to Captain Price? I'd rather not ruffle the feathers of 2 captains. With
Je veux dire, enquêter. Venez travailler au poste 41.
Work with Price? I'm flattered, but I don't know if I...
This truly came as a surprise to him. Not a bad one, but he's at a loss.
Flattered? You're Lieutenant Kitsuragi. We would be flattered if you even considered.
I would have to tie things up in GRIH first. But, I mean, whatever is coming, Jamrock will be more central to it than the harbor.
And we also have a huge caseload, Lieutenant. Piles that we need to get back to.
I do like the sound of that.
Allez, succès des vrais, recrutez le lieutenant. Allez.
He's really considering it.
Allez, je suis prêt.
Good.
Il vous regarde, puis il regarde Vicmar.
Fuck it, let's go. Trump brought his motor carriage. It's a 20-minute drive to Jamrock.
The great district hums in the slowly falling snow. A chessboard of wooden houses, 80,000 living souls, and chimney stacks. Fire traps as far as the eye can see. You close your eyes and hear the dogs bark. A lone woman sits by a factory window, dreaming of meteorite strikes. On Rue de Saint-Jérôme, a square bullet slides into a square-shaped chamber. In Old South, a man without eyelids smiles. Spring has come. It's time. Torsen? Yes. McLean? Yes. Heidelstein? No. Vicmere? Yes. Dubois? Yes. Really? Nick Gottlieb looks up from the list. I hear he's unstable. You say that like it's a bad thing. Captain Ptolemy Price gestures with a ballpoint pen. It's dim in his office, and the curtains are drawn. Harry's our man. He'll pull through. When he does, he'll side with the people. Understood. Gottlieb returns to the list. Minnow? Of course.
Wonderful. Then can we please just go back to Jamrock now?
Fin. Disco Elysium. Comment ça va, Quentin? Parce que moi je t'ai pas vu arriver, on était dans la fin du jeu là. On était dans la fin de ce magnifique jeu qui est Disco Elysium. Ouh, c'était vraiment bien. C'était si bien. Pouah, 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 pouah. Comme on a défoncé ce tribunal qu'on s'est bouffé à la fin là. Allez, on leur a montré qu'on était un vrai flic là. Alors, c'est qui le meilleur enquêteur là? Non, parce que dans le jeu, ils parlent tous à moitié français. Mais j'ai l'impression, quand je regarde les noms, il n'y a aucun nom qui font en français, quoi. Comme ça, tu le reconnais, ce décor. C'est chez moi. C'est mon décor. Avec un chat qui dort derrière cette Keyblade. Je sais pas si on le voit. Ah, c'est vraiment excellent. C'est vraiment excellent ce jeu. Non, voilà. YouTube. On sait ce qu'on va faire vendredi pour mon anniv. On va passer une bonne demi-heure, 1 heure sur ce jeu à s'amuser, à refaire... à retenter notre jet à 72%, notre jet à 83%. Bien sûr, on ne le filmera pas. Donc si tu veux voir ce que ça donne, ben... il va falloir venir sur le live vendredi. Le 19 août. Astis sur Discord. Ouais, ça me dit un truc, ouais. Pourquoi? C'est Tristan, c'est un pote à moi. Regardez ce nombre de personnes. C'est toute la... Ça, c'est toute la... Le jeu en anglais. Ah, mais il est descendu, le petit chat. Ah bah voilà, bah, c'est un pote à moi. Salut petit chat. Salut petit chat. Comment il va le petit chat? T'avais trop chaud? T'avais trop chaud? T'avais trop chaud? Oh là là. Ouf. Ouais, c'est le petit chat, il est par terre à côté. Petit chat. Je peux pas t'atteindre, j'ai le bras trop petit. Non. Je te caresse à distance, frère. Oh. 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 Ah ouais, oh là là là, oh, oh. Tu caresses le ventre comme ça. Oh, 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 oh. Après, tu caresses ça. Oh là là. C'est du caressage, c'est du caressage air. C'est comme le, c'est du air caressage, comme le air guitar. Pour que ça raconte de beau, regarde, on vient finir un superbe jeu. Alors qu'il pourrait pas plaire à beaucoup de gens, mais c'était vraiment un excellent jeu. Quoi d'autre? Ben, je vais avoir un quart de siècle dans 3 jours, mais sinon ça va. Je le vis bien. Voice Sector of Korean Thriller, waouh. On peut pas passer. Je pensais qu'on pouvait peut-être accélérer le... Eh oui, mais il y a un live anniversaire. Vendredi, live anniversaire, 10h, 20h, minimum. On se fait une journée entière live pour fêter mes 25 ans. On jouera à plein de trucs. On jouera peut-être même en ligne s'il y a des gens qui sont là. The French Team, Jérémy Pavie. The Russian Team, Vladimir Emiljev. Bon, viens faire coucou quand tu veux, hein, pas de soucis. On sera là, nous. On jouera je sais pas quoi, mais on sera là. Ouais, je sais, on m'a dit. Bien joué, je t'ai pas dit bonjour. Ouais, on m'a tenu au courant que tu bossais maintenant. Bah bien joué, hein. Pas bien joué pour ton diplôme, hein. Je vais t'en retourner une, toi tu vas voir, hein. Mais bien joué pour le travail. Ouais, il y a même les fontes, quoi. Il y a même les polices d'écriture. Il y a même un générique pour les polices d'écriture. Ah bah oui, bah, ah bah ça, mec. Tu rates un diplôme, c'était sûr que ta Rome allait balancer à tout le monde. Hein. Ah bah ça. C'est le rôle des Roms. C'est pour te mettre dans la honte pour que tu bosses. Ah, les remerciements supplémentaires. On arrive près de la fin du générique. Oh, ce fut une sacrée aventure, mais what an adventure! What an adventure! Faut leur faire face à un moment. Hein. Bah ça va, qu'est-ce qu'ils vont dire? T'as un travail maintenant. C'est pas comme si tu rentrais à la maison en mode salut, je viens revivre ici parce que ben j'ai ni diplôme ni travail. Bonjour. Ça va. Et j'adore ta sœur, mais bon, elle a fait des coups pires, hein, donc ça va. C'est marqué, pour ceux qui ne parlent pas un traître mot anglais, c'est marqué humanité, sois vigilant, nous t'aimons. Nous t'aimions. C'est marqué plutôt nous t'aimions. C'est au passé. Hein. Je viens de dire c'est au passé. Hein. Est-ce que un petit après générique où je vais voir même pas un après générique où je vais voir l'autre et lui dire hey! Et si je mets continue, on arrive où? Sur les quais? Juste avant mon... Juste avant mon procès? Ah oui. YouTube. J'espère que t'as kiffé autant que nous. Moi j'ai kiffé. J'ai kiffé ce jeu. En vrai, une masterpiece. Masterclass. En tout cas, laisse un pouce bleu, tout ça. Si t'as envie de savoir qu'est-ce qui se serait passé si on avait évité Ruby de se suicider et qu'on n'avait pas raté notre jet pour tuer l'autre, eh ben viens vendredi. Entre 10h et 20h. Viens regarder toute la journée quoi. Allez, au revoir. Au revoir YouTube. Au revoir.